anything incriminating on here. Although, as I just hit record, I just said that, so it'll make people wonder right when they pop on the YouTube thing. And so I want to mention the partners. Like, I know most of you guys have been at least one handful of our events. So I know some of you guys know our preferred partners, some not. And I also know that anybody who has experienced any success in real estate is used to being harassed by vendors. I will guarantee that that's not how our partners roll. It's not going to happen. Like, look, full transparency, nothing what we do with our platform is possible without the support of our partners. And so I'm talking to realtors now, as experts in your field, our partners are experts in their field. A lot of them have been in the business a couple decades plus, and they're not here today to sell themselves, but just to be a resource. And I'm sure they are glad to connect with you after, if possible. But it takes many moving parts to make a real estate transaction work. And I invited them on the call today just because I believe that they know their stuff and they are experts in their field, and they're just good resource to lean on. So let's see here, Julie. Technically, you were on first, and Julie's actually a new partner, was referred by Emily Phair. So I'm gonna let you go first, then Ryan, and then world famous Gundy. You can go. So yeah, quick 15 seconds. Introduce yourself, your industry, how long you've been in that field, and then we'll jump into the bulk of the call.
Sure. I'm Jodi Teplitzky, Wanderlust Design Co. I have been doing this for about the last 5 years. Before that, I was in major event production, so I have a production background. What I do now is more interior design and renovation consulting. So I work with folks, buyers on updating the house they just bought, and sellers on updating something to get it ready to sell.
Ryan, go for it, sir.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan Pierce. I'm at A&N Mortgage. I've been doing this for, I think it's about 19 years now. We're in Lincoln Park, kind of do our thing all over the place though, as many lenders do, and excited to meet you all, and a couple of you I've met before, and hopefully we can all learn something together. So,
Gundy, go for it, man.
Hey, I'm Mike. I've been annoying a lot of you on behalf of my clients for the past 15 years. Sorry, it's not me, it's my clients. Me and my partner CJ, we're up in Roscoe Village, and thanks for having me, Andy.
Yeah, brother. One quick thing before we dive into this. I got Ryan and Michael Gunderson have been partners since we launched. Like, I can with full confidence say we would not have grown as fast as we did. I think the first issue, October of 2017, it was one of those things where, like, oh, you're starting a magazine? Yeah, you get it, Andy. It is 2017. That's a great idea. But they kind of took a leap of faith on me. We didn't know it would be this successful. And obviously it's a community connector, the platform, but the magazine's the glue that holds everything together. So I just want to give you guys a shout out. Like, I can't do what I do without Michael, Julie, and Ryan. So let's just dive in. This is very organic. I do not have a scripted questions for this. This is just, that's why I call it a jam session. It's just people talking shop. So I would like, if somebody wants to go first, Emily, I don't know if you would mind, if you're in a mindset to, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm here.
If you're in a spot, but this is, market update, or just maybe any nuance that you've learned, that you've implemented into your business since the shutdown. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and obviously ask each other questions, ask the partners questions. If there's an awkward pause for like 27 seconds, obviously I have some canned stuff that I'll ask to help foster conversation and collaboration, but this is your time. So I have found, I'm going to shut up. The less I talk, the more you guys get out of this. But if, people do need some gentle nudging, then I will obviously intervene. So yeah, Emily, what are you seeing out there? What's something maybe like a new strategy that you've implemented? Fire away.
Sure. Well, I think one of the cool things that's happening right now is, like, everything is working. Like, we are just so busy, and I know you guys are probably feeling the same, where like buyers and sellers are coming out of the woodwork, and it's super fun. Renters are coming out of the woodwork. It's just like nuts. So right now we're kind of sitting in this spot where it's like we're like on our throne, just like making in deals, and that's amazing, but I do not think that that's going to last. So the strategy right now is get as many deals under contract as we possibly. It's going to take a screeching halt, I'm pretty sure. Looking at systems behind the scenes, that's what it's all about for us right now.
We're losing you.
Now is like,
I was just going to ask.
bring in the money because we're gonna have to. We're gonna have
Hey, Emily, you're is it just me?
No, it's
towards
oh,
that.
I would
I'm
like the
wrong.
mic connection.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, then we can make some investments. Exciting. It's always a little bit, I think. Dang, you guys, I'm in Wisconsin. That's why.
Okay.
You can't hear me at all.
We lost you a few times.
Sorry, you guys.
Well, that's all right. I mean, anybody else can chime in.
Well, yeah, I'll just jump in. I think it's great. I mean, obviously, I didn't get to see you today, Lipton, but you know, getting a collective group of professionals like yourselves, you know, together during this, I think is super valuable. I'm a big fan of, you know, I'm sure a lot of us aren't frequenting the offices as much. I see a lot of home offices in the background, but you know, that water cooler talk, I think that we don't get to have at mass like we used to. I think this is, you know, a great idea, Andy, to get together folks from different shops and have them chat about the market, nuances of what's going on, best practices, etc. So first off, appreciate that. This is super valuable. I haven't been in the office today. I just did a post on Instagram. I literally have not been in the office since March 3rd. And the reason I know that is because I had a bottle of wine with our GM in our office, and we signed the cork and dated it. And I literally have not walked in, and that's exactly the date on the cork. It's on top of our shelf in the office. So it's been a long damn time. And, you know, it's good to see some faces in the business. Obviously, I've seen Jodi on some showings as well not too long ago. But it's good to get together. I appreciate this, and hopefully this is a regular thing you guys churn out.
Yeah, anything that any new thing that you've been doing, or even something that's not working. You know, we did I think one of these in April and May, and we had some people say, I tried this, and you know, just fell flat on my face. So you know, and anybody can chime in, just specific strategies or you know, the ways that you're reinventing yourself.
I got a question for anyone on the call. Broker opens. Lipton, I'd be interested in seeing if you have any feedback, but any success? Like, is it busy? Do you guys get any faces through worthwhile, or is it, what is it? Is it only work in New York with our listings? I don't know. What's the deal?
I haven't done a broker's open in a long time, maybe
Likewise.
way pre-COVID. I never really had a lot of success with them. So.
Yeah, I haven't done any brokers opens for
Years.
maybe last year.
I feel that they're bigger in the suburbs than they are in the city, personally.
They're actually, yeah, they're huge in the suburbs and
Yeah.
very well attended. I don't ever see them in the city. I feel like it's more beneficial to reach out individually to brokers to get their opinion or to have them come through than to sit there for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I think the only way to really do it right, schedule the brokers open, but literally call brokers individually and, you know, just make them come. You know, instead of getting, we all get all the emails every day, and I hit, you know, typically report a spam to most, but if you call them and guilt trip them and ask for a favor and tell them you're only calling them and 3 other people, even though you've called like 50, they typically have a good turnout.
Yeah.
And on that note, coincidentally, I'm actually planning one today. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with my 8-unit development on Montana. Steve O'Neill's building, 936 West Montana. Pretty spectacular property. We have 3 pre-sold already. We're not even done. But Joel Schwab and Christine are actually going to help host. We're going to do a pretty fancy brokers open out on the duplex downs. Have like 1,300 square foot decks off the family room. So I'm going to do like sushi, wine, maybe a little a cappella singing, you know, some dancers, some fire, who knows? It'll get crazy. But whatever Joel and Christine want to do, they're, you know, nice enough to host it. But I'd love for all you guys to come. Jason, I know you'll already be there. Ro, you guys, Andy, love for you to be there. And
I'll bring my kids.
Everybody knows Joel.
I'll bring my kids. We're the only nine people that you've invited, though, right?
Of course.
Yeah. That's making sure. Yeah. I love it.
Good stuff.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So I have a question for the realtors. You know, one thing that I see a lot, now I'm a lender, so I'm getting a lot of contracts that are all, 28-day closes over and over and over again. And obviously it's a really busy time, especially on our side of things with refinances and stuff. There's always this balance of trying to make sure that you can get everything done, not just quickly, but also smoothly for the clients, right? Because you make sure that, you want to make sure that they have a good experience, that they aren't, they're busy as well. They've got kids at home, whatever it is, and they're not rushing. So I don't know if it's a question of, there's so many offers out there and you're trying to be competitive and trying to make sure your buyers are winning those places with quick closes, but is there something that you're looking for that would help your clients be more successful without putting them in a position where they've got to sort of maybe order an appraisal earlier than they feel comfortable doing or rush through the process on that?
How often are you able to close those mortgages in that time frame? Because I'm generally guiding my clients to be conservative, to do 45 days minimum, just because of how much longer things are taking. And unless we're in a bidding war, not ordering an appraisal until after they're out of AI.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do them 100% of the time because I've got my own underwriter, advertise it, but I've certainly started having those conversations with my realtor partners. It's like, hey, listen, you're not doing anyone a favor here. You're really just going to make it, a less smooth process for the buyer. And I'm not sure what exactly is keeping them from doing that, but we're able to do it. It's just we would certainly like more time. And I don't know, maybe if it's even a combination of saying, hey, all right, you want to close in 30 days so you can give a competitive offer and make sure your buyer's getting the place over someone else. Maybe we don't do 5 business days on a mortgage contingency. Maybe we do 2 or 3 days instead of, standard contract, just because every day when you're talking about 15 business days, every day is a large percentage of the time, right? And, one of those big things now is certainly, like you were saying, Dena, that appraisal order. It's like, well, if you want me to be done with a loan in 3 weeks, well, we're going to order the appraisal quickly, and you've got a lot of properties that are having issues right now. And so how do you balance that risk of potential sunk costs for these clients who, should they move away from a property, want to jump right into another one, and those expenses add up for them?
Brian, what do you mean by there's a lot of properties that are having issues right now?
I see a lot of inspection issues.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Be them being able to work through them or not. I see a lot of, back and forth on the negotiations from those inspection reviews.
Okay.
Are you guys not seeing that?
Not a lot. No, I don't know. We do. I think a lot of people here are city agents. We probably do a lot of high rises. I know Josh, these guys do a lot of new construction and stuff. I'm not having a lot of inspection issues. I don't know about the rest of the guys.
We see a good amount of them, especially like townhouses, duplex towns. So we definitely are seeing that, and I've had appraisal issues with some properties as well.
Yeah, and even if it's not a big number, it's more that you don't want, no one wants these buyers, especially if their first go through or something. You don't want them to feel incredibly rushed through the process and having to order an appraisal when maybe they're not otherwise ready to. Even if it's 1 in 10, you still want all 10 of them to have a good experience.
If the question is why are you seeing more 28-day or 30-day, I would say that, from my perspective, I think 30 days is probably, that would be the exact reason, right? It's a very competitive market right now. And so you're looking for an edge in anything, whether it's price or terms or whatever it might be. And that's one of those things where if you can close a couple of weeks sooner, then sure, that gives you a slight edge over someone else. So not something that we're religiously doing, but like you're looking for little edges and terms here and there, and it's just going to strengthen your offer.
Yeah, but the reality is people can put whatever they want on the contract. We all know that. We put, close in 3 weeks, and suddenly they need an extension. And once you're 30 days in, it's not like the seller's going to say, go take a hike, I'm going to start over. Like, it's kind of like trust but verify, I suppose.
Yeah, that's why it's so valuable to have relationships with all the brokers, as many as you can around the city, and have good relationships, because then you can step out the bullshit ahead of it. It's that's super valuable to have relationships with those folks that and being in the middle of a multiple. I just had one not too long ago that I did, and there was 3 offers and we won. And it wasn't because I knew her, but it was because she knew me, and it was a deal over here in Lakeview, and it went through and we got it. And that was, she knew me, I knew her, she knew we weren't full of shit, and it all worked out. And I think that speaks volumes when you know the other broker on the other side. I've had brokers that, they put you guys have all had this, I'm sure, where someone puts a crap offer in on day 2 of the listing, it's 20 grand under ask, and they're like, oh, well, we'll come up, and then you get another offer and it's full ask. We just completely didn't even counter the 20 under. We went with the full ask deal, and the guy's like, oh, we come up, why don't you give us a counter? It's like, put your best foot forward. I don't know you, and this is your first offer. Like, that's, it wasn't any good. So I think that, the relationships, this is a business that speaks volumes of that. So that certainly does help.
Yeah.
Andy, going back to your original question, I think one of the things that I'd be curious to hear what everybody else has to say, but like when COVID sort of first started, I thought that the virtual open houses and that was going to be something that was going to stick around, right? Like the market had sort of forever changed. And I think that lasted probably just a couple of weeks for me. I mean, I rushed out, I got a gimbal, I did the virtual open houses. I'm like, this is amazing. It's like 20 minutes and I'm done with an open house, right? And then you get all these views later. But I didn't, and it worked a couple of times, but I thought maybe that our industry was going to be kind of forever changed by that. And it'd be a huge time savings if we could do open houses in 15, 20 minutes instead of like 2-hour increments. But I found that I don't even think I picked it up again after like a month. I'm like, it kind of went back. And I guess maybe the market's been so busy that it hasn't mattered, but everybody just started showing up to the showings anyways. So it didn't really make a difference. I mean, did anybody else stick with that, or like, are you guys still doing virtual showings and getting a lot of business virtually or doing open out? Yeah. Okay. I was just curious.
I think the only thing that at least I found that really was just like engagement on social media. I think that's been the biggest thing I've noticed is just general social media engagement, and people, see a lot of different things. And my assistant has done a lot with TikTok, which our viewers have been liking a lot with our listings. And so that seems to be working. We've definitely gotten a lot more followers, a lot more people that are reaching out through social media, and definitely not one that's social media or technologically savvy.
Well, now I have to ask you to screen share one of your TikToks there.
Go follow me or follow our team.
My wife just got on it. I'm like, yeah, I see the draw to it. But yeah, no, that's where bios are. It's cool. Yeah, I love it.
We share TikTok videos on Instagram. That's more of like what we're doing. So she'll make TikTok videos out of like our listing pictures and put it on Instagram.
You talk about that. I mean, I'm curious. I don't know if everybody else is, but I mean, that's obviously stuff that we're not personally doing on our platform. I don't know if you got you track the ROI off of it, or how does it
I have no idea what it is, to be honest.
I was curious.
Can you circulate one after this, please? I'm kind of new to the whole TikTok thing. I'd love to see that. Andy, make sure.
I am curious to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Andy,
make sure that Dena's accountable to send that to everybody.
Dude, me and you both. I mean, hey, if you can look it up quick, I can do the screen share settings and give you access, Dena.
Which is that you got to follow her on, right? You got to post on Instagram.
Follow for a follow. You know how it is.
Well, you screen share, then you make us want to follow, right? Isn't that how it works? Gunderson, pull up some of your TikTok stuff, man. I'm sure
do it on my phone. Again, I'm not technologically savvy, guys. Let's see. You keep talking.
Actually, this is a good break. Hey, everybody smile real quick. Hold on. Well, hold on. I'll tell you. 1, 2, 3. All right. I think that's good. Beautiful. Emily and Kevin look the same, but you know, whatever.
So have you guys changed how you do your marketing at all? Like, you know, like
Good question.
there's a big rush to like, you know, social media, stuff like that. What's working for you guys?
I haven't really changed what I'm doing so much as I'm just getting a lot better responses to it in this market. You know, normally an email newsletter might get some responses, but like out of all the things, like just reaching out to people, obviously, but I've shortened like in my email newsletter to like a 60-second read, or just call it like a 1-minute sort of snapshot. And I seem to have gotten a lot of responses, a lot of feedback, and quite a bit of referrals coming from a very passive marketing thing that I don't usually do. I usually pick up the phone, and I usually reach out to people, talk to people, but lately this passive marketing in this market has really been working well for me. So
He's going to be pissed that he's not on right now for this.
Who is?
The marketing question.
The guy texted me at like 11:30. He's like, "You're gonna kill me," and I'm like, you do your thing. I was like, "Hop on late." I was like, you know.
I think Rowland should jump in here. I don't know if you guys have seen his
Yeah.
channel. My God, that thing is like streaming on Netflix right now. New series.
Yeah, we've done a lot of social media stuff this during the pandemic, but I hired a guy that works for Fox Sports Midwest and does a lot of video work. It's crazy. Those guys literally get paid to watch sports games and then do like Twitter feeds about it. And I mean, it's like a dream job. But we've picked up a little over 1,200 followers, I think, on Instagram just during the pandemic. We've been doing giveaways. That's one thing that has helped the followers, but it's a local footprint, which is nice. So you're not getting people from, you know, all over the country. We're doing local groups, restaurants. So it's, you know, you include them. Sometimes they jump in and give away something extra, which is nice. Jenny's ice cream last week was a boomer. I mean, that really had a lot of hits, which was nice. We just give $100 away a week, whether that's one gift card for $100 or 2 for $50 or 4 for 25. We've been doing that. We've got a lender that just, you know, pays half for the month, and you know, we back that ad up with another $100 promo behind it, so it gets a lot of new eyes on the profile. And that's just what we've been doing. I don't think we're going to stop. It's been pretty successful so far. So from a social side marketing, we've been successful in building that. We've gotten some DMs for a couple rental items, but nothing buy or sell yet. But I think that seeing the trend, I think that does speak to, you know, I honestly think that we'll get to a point where we were doing some video content this morning. I almost said it, but I think we're going to someone's going to reach out and just say, hey, I want to use you guys for a buy or a sell. You know, I don't know anybody. I want to film the whole thing, start to finish, and just see how that goes. I just think it'd be a good idea, and we'll see what happens from it. But yeah, that's been our idea.
All right, hold on. Since I got you all on the phone right now, I'm emailing back and forth with another agent. She wants to bring a development. It's not on the market yet. It's not on TAN. It's not on the private listing network. She's like, before I talk to my clients, they're going to love it. Will you send me a commission statement? I'm like, what do you want? A commission statement? No, that's like when you close. She's like, commission agreement. I'm like, what is she asking for? Is there a certain form? Doesn't she have to send me something?
I think tell her just to write into the deal. I think she just wants.
I said, you have my email. I'm confirming. Like, she keeps coming back to me. I don't get this. I figured I have all you on the phone. None of you know either then, huh?
Like a one-time agreement?
I told her to confirm the commission is, 2.5%. She keeps asking, send me a commission statement. What, lady? Like, it's not a good sign for the deal.
It's almost, yeah, she almost doesn't take your email as that being, yeah.
Yes,
Send the same thing that you'd send if you went to an if you have a unrepresented sell by owner, they always send over those forms that you promised to pay me. Sounds like
right, but I'm not an owner. I'm representing this developer.
Yeah.
The one thing that we've done, like once we go under contract with something that's not on the market, is our managing broker will ask for the other managing broker to send an email verifying. But that's
her last email was, I'm speaking to my clients in 30 minutes. Can you send me something before? Then I'm like, no.
Tell her next email that she sends you, tell her the commission is now 1.5%. And the next one's gonna be at 0.5%.
Third base and rolling. Done.
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny. This is like live. It's like live advice right now.
Yeah. I'm going to say that I'm currently on a Zoom call with 9 other agents, and none of us know what to talk about.
Yeah.
just pat
9 other
us in.
agents and Andy Burton.
Yeah, and they all said to reduce your commission. I love it.
Jason, if that works, I'll pay for some of your gift cards. You could buy more.
There you go. Perfect.
I have a question for you guys. What are you seeing with like the luxury condo market in like Gold Coast, Streeterville, River North?
Tick tock, tick tock.
I haven't been doing a lot of luxury stuff lately, but I think it's pretty slow. I feel like that price point that's moving extremely quickly is that $400 to $650. So
I think the 1.5 to 2 is really tough right now. I have a lot of stuff in like the 900 to 1.3, and I think that's actually a good price point. That's selling pretty well right now, new construction at least. But
yeah, I was going to ask you how some of that new product you have, Lipton, how's that moving? It sounds like it's obviously pretty good at Montana, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the new construction's flying, to be honest. I think that's moving less. I don't know if there's any correlation to the fact that it's brand new and nobody's ever lived there, and you know, the whole everything going on in the world. But that's what's flying. Like, I had a couple of duplexes on Wrightwood and Southport that sold them both before putting on MLS, 3 months before they're even done. I mean, I don't know. I think new construction's hot. I have some resale stuff that's just sitting, not much activity, but I don't know. Maybe there is a correlation with COVID and new construction, but I'm just going to keep riding it, not complaining.
Our builders are going nuts right now. They're not finding enough stuff to buy to build on new ones because they're going under contracts long before it's finished, and that's just because they put up the sign. They're not finding enough lots to keep going when they sell the ones they have. It's been chaos. They're just flying. Everything's under contract months in advance of completion for them.
Yeah.
So
and I have
busy.
a few single family homes right now that have been pre-sold, basically before the foundation's even in, which is great.
How are you guys feeling about the overall market? I mean, obviously new construction's flying. I mean, it feels like it was really, really hot in May, June, and like beginning of July. Now I'm just feeling a little bit of a pullback, I mean, it was like multiple offers, 25 showings, like it just felt like it was completely insane. And I mean, I know now a lot more inventory starting to hit the market. It's been coming on through June and July. Are you guys feeling that at all? Or are you still feeling that it's like literally the same as it was like 45, 60 days ago for you guys?
I feel like it goes up and down one week to the next. It was super busy, then it slowed down. There was barely any showings. And then this past week I had a ton of showings again on all my listings across the board. But I do feel like it's very hit or miss right now. Yeah. I mean, normally we're pretty slow in August, but I think it's going to stay a little busier, but I don't know how it's going to be toward the end of the year.
Yeah, I second that. It's very similar. I mean, it's almost changing day by day, Jody. It's not even week by week. It's so I feel like I won't get a call for anything for like 2 or 3 days, and all of a sudden I get three requests for showings of the same property for, there's no real playbook for what we're doing. So again, it's obviously good to get this together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's slowed down a bit in the past few weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I mean, the stuff that was just flying, or like you put a new listing up and it was just, numerous showings, requests, inquiries, and I'm just putting stuff up and just feeling that little bit of that pullback right now. And I thought that maybe it was just a caveat of a lot more inventory that's finally like sort of been flooding out of the market like this past month. So that's what I'm feeling. I was just curious if that was kind of like, I hope it's not just me and that if that's, kind of going on, but it's interesting. So I'm feeling that too, Dena, like at the luxury price point too. Same thing. Yeah, definitely feel, for me at least, I mean, I don't do the new construction stuff like Josh and these guys, but like I've definitely felt softness in the market at the million-ish price point.
Yeah. Yeah, but I even agree with you. Like, I put a couple on the past week or two that I felt like were going to fly off the market, like priced very aggressively. It's going to go immediately, and it's not as fast as I expected. Whereas in June, it was just like out of control, like 6 offers, 5 offers, you know, and at varying price points.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that started my clients that are thinking about coming on the market. They're like, are we too late? You know, what do you think we should be doing? Which I'm saying no. I think that this summer market will continue into August. It's just a matter of if it's going to kind of fizzle a little, because I feel like it's not as strong as it was.
Yeah, half the kids aren't going to be going back to school anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's
wild.
Don't get me started. All right, that's the end of the call, guys. All right.
Yeah. What are you all seeing from your open house standpoint? I mean, obviously the nosy neighbors and looky-loos are not coming by, but what are you seeing in terms of traffic? Are you know, I don't know, you know, price points, everybody's got stuff across the board. Are you seeing a lot of activity? I think the most we had through the other day was like 5, which whatever, it's fine. We were there for an hour and a half, but are you guys seeing a lot of traffic on your listings, you know, up and down the price scale?
No, my open houses have been horrible the last 3 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting more showings from the MLS on listings and really nobody coming through. And I'm only doing them for an hour and a half as well, but it's super quiet.
We were getting good. I mean, I usually do the first one and then I let like my team or somebody else do the remainders. And so like this weekend, I think it's very weather dependent, but this weekend we had like 8 groups each day, and like there was a lot of people that were in each group. It was like 20 something people each day. And then the prior weekend on Saturday, where it was beautiful, we had like 30 something people come.
Wow, that's a lot.
And then the next day it poured and there was only 2. So one thing that I've been doing, and maybe this is what's driving it, I don't know how you guys feel about the strategy, but frankly, part of it is for my clients, part of it's frankly for me, is that I'll list property on Friday and I won't do any showings until the open house on Saturday. So it's driving a lot more activity to the open houses on Saturday. A lot of my clients have young kids and it's just easier to manage it that way. But also for, you know, accompanying showings, it's easier for me to not have it start until the open house is.
That's a lot of people through the open house. So like 30 parties came through?
No, like 30 people, I would say. So maybe basically we've been getting anywhere between, on a good open house, like 8 to 15 groups.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's solid. I feel more like what Jodi feels like, where it's been kind of quiet. I mean, I think at the 300, $400,000 price point, things are like, it's still busy, but like I'm feeling it 5 on the non-new construction stuff, you know, 5, 6, 7. It's just, you know, maybe a couple of people that are coming through at most, you know, that's what we're feeling. That's what I've been feeling.
Do you guys
I know it's
houses in the high-rise buildings, non-new construction?
Yeah, these are just normal high-rise condo building open houses. Yeah, for the most part.
I don't find that those are well attended, at least for my listing. This is more for like, I do a lot of townhouses.
Okay.
Townhouses and like duplex downs.
Gotcha. And are you like, where are you primarily focused?
Lincoln Park and Lakeview is the majority of my listings. And then I've got like a couple in West Loop, one in Old Town right now, one in West Town, but a large focus in Lincoln Park.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Jason?
Yeah, I was just, what was I going to say? I completely lost my train of thought, so I started thinking about something else. I lost it. It'll come back, though. Continue.
Open houses? With open houses?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Oh, I was going to say, you know, with the, you know, and your clients obviously are are always like, oh, how'd it go? How many people come through? And you're like, 1 or 2 or 3. And they're like, oh, really? And it's like, that happens 2 weeks in a row. You get 1 showing during the week, and you got to have the discussion about what you do with the price point. It's just, that's been troubling. I sold something on Hoyne just right at Belmont a month and a half ago off tan. And I got another listing on Belmont a block away. I got 1 person through the first open house, 1 off-market showing, and 1 person through the last open house. And we just dropped 12.5 grand a day. Like they're closing in Glen Ellen, middle of August, and I can't get anybody through their home. And it's better than Hoyne, so I can't figure it out. We're 20 grand higher, 17 grand higher. So yeah, who knows? It's just wild. So it is what it is. Those discussions you got to have with your clients, right? I mean, there's no playbook for this, so we're all doing what we know to do. Keep swinging.
Yeah, there's definitely no playbook. It went from
Sure.
like super hot to like, got a list right now. You got a list right now. You got to get your home on the market. Like get it on, and then bam, like it just feels like overnight or with the snap of a finger, just like the reins got pulled way back all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so, like you said, there's no playbook.
It's wild. It's
I haven't heard
absolutely
from you. I
wild.
haven't heard from you in 2 days. What's going on with my listing?
So
I'm
I tell you
curious.
what, I got to ask, because I got a client who's got a video system on their home internally, and they actually coach the open house and the tours. Anybody have one of those?
Wow.
Yeah, pretty over the shoulder. I mean, micromanaging too, its finest. So if I have one
during the actual showing.
No, so they'll watch it post open house.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll critique it and call you and tell you about what your guy and your team didn't say or didn't do. And it's just like,
Ooh.
okay, all right, got it. So I just wondered if anyone ever had that ever happen and what they said to that person or persons.
That's definitely a first for me. I've never heard. I mean, I know about cameras. I know people are probably watching and certain things. But I've never heard anybody be like, all right, here's what you're going to need to do next week.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Keeps you on your toes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
So
I watch what you're saying, right?
Right.
Give the other agent a heads up about it?
No. I keep it completely, let them either see it or they don't see it. They say what they want to say. I feel it's either going to help or it's going to hurt, and I'll deal with it, whatever. It's, it is what it is. I'm not going to put myself in a corner, but I'll let them say something good or bad for the listing. It's honest feedback, right? It's honest feedback.
Yeah.
Right. I always say that, like, be honest, because it helps with the seller.
Yeah. So
I went where you. No, I was just gonna say I went where you did, Ryan. I thought it was like live as they were going through it, but then Jason, you confirmed it was after. So I was like, I would have some fun with that. But
yeah,
continue what you were gonna say, Jason.
I was gonna say that I really have noticed a change in feedback responses from brokers, which has been nice to see. I feel like I'm getting a lot more feedback. I don't know how you all have been seeing that, but I feel like on everything across the board, people have been responsive in that terms. I mean, you may not get it from schedule or set schedule, but like showing time, but like you get it from a text message. But people have been very forthcoming with feedback, I thought, as of during the pandemic.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Yeah, people are getting a lot better feedback, more polite about it. Like when you're asking and you're getting the feedback. I got a kind of a random question for you guys. I coach with this guy, Brian Eisenhower, and he's out of California. He challenged me on something regarding like lock boxes. He was questioning like why in the city do you guys, like everywhere else, let's say it's like in the suburbs, for example, right? And a lot of other places, we put the listings on lockboxes, so the sellers put the listings on lockboxes. But in the city, in Chicago, we feel that it's necessary for us to show up to the listings.
100%.
Right? And so we do. It's just common business practice. It's just the way it's done in Chicago. The listing agent or a team member is always there, is always showing. But if you go and you look at all these other cities, it's not the way that business is generally done. It's done in a lockbox. And the challenge, like he was challenging me to say, well, try and have that discussion, you know, have that discussion with your seller to say, set the expectations up front that they don't really want us there. The buyer's agent doesn't really want us there because they can't freely talk about the property. The buyer can't give their feedback. They can't talk openly. They're going to feel rushed while they're at the property because you're there. Whether you're hovering over them or whether you're guiding them or whatever, you're not really needed if you're providing enough information, or they can ask you questions later. So wouldn't that save you a tremendous amount of time? Wouldn't you be able to leverage your time so much better if you left the key or you had that conversation up front with your sellers, because that's what's customary in most markets? And I was like, I see the point. I'm like, it's just, you know, he's like, you have much more of your time. You'll have a lot more time to build relationships. You're setting expectations. You know, you're telling them that this is the actual advantage, that it's more likely that your home's going to sell and you're going to get more people through it, and that they're going to spend more time in the unit looking at it instead of feeling rushed. I didn't really have a great answer for him other than it's just customary. It's just kind of the way business has been done in the city, and that we feel that we need to show off because we're.
We're losing you.
The Zoom, blessing and a curse, right? Technology.
I wonder if you can put those last two things together where it's like, all right, you've got the video there so you can get honest feedback.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you lost Row there. To me,
Yeah.
I literally just did a post the other day on social about this live video that I did with our video guy. That I think it's. I would personally always be there, or someone on my team be there. I just think that whoever's walking through that unit needs to know, A, the unit, B, the updates, and then also you got to know about the neighborhood. What if these people just showed up from out of town a couple of days ago and they don't know groceries, neighborhood, lifestyle, coffee, beer, all that stuff, gym? It's up to you to be able to sell that product and be the face of the counter of the home. I think it's super valuable for you to be there. And I literally just touched on this. Personally, to me, 100%, the burbs piss me off. Like they literally are lockbox hangers. Like all they do is they get a bunch of listings, they throw lockboxes on, they never show it. It's just a lockbox hang and run, and they make a living outfit. Good for them, but I think that's just not safe hands for the client. Personally, that's my feelings.
I would agree with Jason. My clients hire me because I show my properties. I mean, that's, my business is pretty much 90% referral probably. And it's so irritating when you go to show a property and it's on lockbox. And I mean, luckily I've been doing this for a long time, so I know locations and I know neighborhoods, but there's people that don't, and they go in and you can't get any questions answered, and you have to wait till you go home, email the agent, ask, there's just no information. And I think it's much more effective to be there. So.
Yeah. I think that if we're all experts at what we do, us being present somewhere is valuable. I mean, I go to my purchase closings, and most people I work with don't, and they don't understand why I take the time to do that. And it's because if we're good at what we do, we're adding value. And I get trying to find ways to make yourself more efficient, and can you do two things instead of one thing? But I do think that being there as a service to your client is something that we get paid to do. And to your point, Jodi, it's like, that's why people refer us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I actually don't agree. Ro, I love the challenge that you were given, because I think this is like a very Chicago-y thing to show our own listings. And I mean, I always joke around that like there should never be two agents in a room unless they're drinking. And I believe that like 100%. So I think one of the fears that we have is that we are hired to sell the property and to like do our job and to provide information. But what if we could not be there and provide the information, give the good quality service? help the buyer understand the neighborhood. Like, what if we could do both? And so that's kind of my mission, because we'll show our property if we have a high-end luxury, or, you know, those real complicated ones where you have to go through like 7 gates and it's just a mess. So we'll show those, but otherwise we almost never show our listings. And when I'm with a buyer, I never want the listing agent there ever. They're just kind of in my way. But we have a super detailed informal listing preparation process, and we call it seller homework. And if you look on our listings, I mean, I don't think we're the best in the city by any means, but we do a pretty good job of making sure that upon entry, you have all the information that you need. So you know how old the roof is, you know what the rental rules are, you know how old the appliances are, you know what the school district is. Like, it's all like there. So there are always questions because we miss stuff. But all the basics are covered. So my value is not in unlocking doors. My value is the consultation that comes with the client. So this is something I feel strongly about. I feel like I could talk for an hour and write a whole book on it. But I don't ever want to show a listing ever. Never. So
yeah. So it's how do you
I challenge you, Ro. I do it and see how you feel.
Yeah. I missed probably half the discussion because, of course, my daughter threw on Netflix and it just wiped out my streaming. And then I came downstairs to get started. So I missed what everybody was saying. And then I caught tail end of Jodi and then Emily. But, like, yeah, I think that's been, Emily, kind of to your point, that's kind of the challenge that was put out there, is that not having 2 agents in the same place at the same time. If I'm a buyer, if I'm a buyer's agent, I don't really want the listing agent there necessarily. No. To just open the door and, okay, just asking a couple questions. I'm on that side too, right? Where I feel like I'm sort of in the way when I'm the listing agent and I'm there. And I just felt like it was a really good question, because it's like, it's just the way we've always done it. And he was like, well, just because that's the way you've always done it doesn't make it the right way.
Right. And not being present doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're not giving good service. Now, the problem is, and like to your point, Jodi and Jason, like, a lot of times it does mean that, because we have so many agents in the city and we have quite a few low quality agents. And so that's the fear, is that our sellers are going to think we're one of those like passe, I just throw a lockbox up and I don't ever think about it and I don't give the good service. But I think there's a way to do it really well. And if we can all band together and do it really well and provide high quality service without being present. Now, we've just learned in the last 4 months that we can provide high quality service without being in the same room with anybody, right? We all know that now. So it's not any different with our listings, right? And the same thing goes with like the appraisal and the walkthrough and the closing. Like, we don't have to be at any of that.
The rule about the inspections pisses me off. The unwritten rule, I might add. Yeah, like, why does the listing and the buyer's broker got to be at the damn inspections? To sit there on their phone and look through emails, like complete BS. I hate that unwritten rule, and yeah, I'm totally a fan of not being there. If you're the listing side on the inspection, like, just give the lockbox for the inspector and the buyers to walk through the home. That, to me, I don't know, man. I think back in the day, I'll never forget. I walked through, Joy Locker from the Low Group was the agent. I walked in, all the lights were on. It was nice. It felt nice. It looked nice in there. We were all like, we ended up doing the deal for that unit, and we're just like, wow, my clients were like, this is super nice. Like, that feeling and putting that feeling in the arms of a broker, like you just mentioned, having the low quality brokers that we have in the city, you know, it's just, you know, that first impression is lost when you aren't there to open the door. I truly feel like that's a very, very valuable moment.
Okay. Just interesting to hear like different perspectives and just get your guys' feedback and thoughts on it, you know? Yeah, for sure. No, believe me, we'd all love to. I personally would love the idea that, you know, be able to list and hang a lockbox and do that. It sounds great in theory, but it just goes against everything I ever saw, liked, and was taught, you know? And I think when the question's being posed, it's being posed more for like a group like this, who are doing all the right things, right? Who do have good systems and processes and models and do take great care of their clients and provide exceptional customer service, right? We're not talking about those yahoos that are just like, they're too lazy to show their listing and they're not doing any work or anything behind it. Kind of like to Emily's point of where she said, you know, they provide a lot of detailed information and additional documents and full on, like with the exception of her actually being there. So anyways, just interesting to have a discussion and understand different viewpoints on it.
I got a quick, oh no, go ahead. I was just going to ask the partners if they've gone virtual, or if you feel it's, you know, valuable to show up to closings, or, you know, how many of your other attorneys or lenders are going to closings, and even Julie too, if you're doing anything virtual that's different. And this is, you know, just obviously open. Also too, side note, I want to respect people's time at 3 o'clock. I got a hard stop at like 3:08, 3:10, but if it goes, if people have other stuff to do, totally cool. We're not like offended, but I'm happy to still chat, you know, for another 5-10 minutes. So just to preface that.
I don't know about other lawyers. I haven't skipped buys yet. I don't know. I've seen some attorneys do Zoom buys. I haven't. So I don't know. Partially it was because I already had COVID, so I don't really worry about it as much. So I've been going, but I've heard a lot of attorneys are doing the buy on Zoom, which seems difficult. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of effort, which is made easier by being there. But we've still been going to purchases. Sales, they don't want us there. We generally FedEx in and just wait to execute. But you know, the buy side definitely, I have heard, but I don't know because I'm usually not there for the sale side.
For me, I do a lot of renovation consulting, so I do have to show up in person and take measurements and take photos. But beyond that, a lot of what I've been tasked with is just one of the services I provide is just sending the client recommendations and links to items. So I've been doing that and walking them through it on Zoom a lot more often than I typically was. And then I wanted to jump back. You guys were kind of all talking about like where your time is better served. And at the risk of sounding salesy, one of the things that I do with agents is work up front. A lot of times you guys get pulled into your clients asking, what should I do to get it ready to sell? Should I paint this wall? Oh, by the way, do you have a painter? Should I paint my kitchen cabinets? By the way, do you know someone who does that? And so I've worked with Emily and Kevin before, and some other folks that are part of Real Producers, but not on this call. And I do a lot of that upfront work. So I kind of take it off your plate. So make the recommendations and then call in the subs, and then kind of manage that process so you guys can kind of just list it and move on. But I have been doing a lot of that from afar now too.
Cool.
Yeah, I used to, one of the reasons why I always went to my closings is because I felt like so much of our process is virtual, or already was virtual. You know, people are doing online applications, stuff over the phone, email, whatever. And I kind of liked being there in person to make that in-person connection. That's just what worked for me. But, you know, as this call is, you know, displayed, and we've seen a lot of other times, is you can have a ton of successful people who all do things so very differently. And I think what's important is finding what works for you. And, you know, we all got to sleep at night. We all got to feel good about what we do. And I miss that connection, and it's hard to replace that in my side of the business because there is no point. Like, I'm not showing my buyers around there, you know, I'm just not with them. So we certainly do more phone calls. Sometimes I have clients who want to do Zoom calls. We do that, but other than that, it's definitely more virtual now than it used to be, and it was already pretty virtual to begin with. So.
I got a side note for Jodi, by the way, since we're all trying to do business on this. That client for 165 is back en route. So if you have anything offline, let's chat for this.
I do. So yes, I will email you.
No, just chat now. We'll chat now. We're recording. I'm just kidding. Just joking. Also, too, I do want to apologize. Emily made a great point. She said if, you know, two or more realtors are in the same room, they should be drinking. So I have epically failed. Even though it's a virtual room, it's still technically a room. So I just want to say I'm sorry. So next time, I've actually thought of just doing like a 3:30 to 5 o'clock Real Producers, I don't know, happy hour, like sign on And then like once we get more and more people on, I'll just do like breakout rooms. I don't know if people would be up for that, but I think that'd be kind of fun. I don't know. Just a thought I had.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm in.
That was good.
It'll be the Friday. It'll be the freaking Friday before school starts. That's probably. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought I was just thinking that.
When Andy, I gotta get going here, but I was just thinking,
we can.
You know, what's your estimate on the next event time wise? When do you think it actually happens?
Probably tomorrow.
Just a guess.
Just kidding.
Perfect. Can't wait.
It really once the city gives the green light, I still think we'll probably, because the challenge is it's not going to be 50 people, and most of our events are 150 to 200, and so that's the challenge. It's like, oh, can we do events? Well, yes, but they have to be 25 or under, so that we don't fall into that category. So that's the challenge. Is even when the city does say, I think the short answer to your question, rather than me speculating and talking through my thoughts for another 9 minutes, Jason, I would say it's probably going to be 2021, but you know, like Lord knows, I think it's honestly too soon to have that discussion right now, because even when the May one got postponed, we're like, oh, we'll do one in the summer. And then here we are, and you know, I don't want to say, oh, it's going to be in the fall, and then you know, nothing happened. So God willing, 2021, if we can, you know, when the city gives the green light, then I still think we'll probably wait a month or two, because it's like, okay, we have the stamp of approval, but then everybody's at different points. You know, everybody's at different levels of comfort, and so it's one of those things where it's like, well, the city says it's okay, but at the same time, well, I don't feel comfortable. So some people are going to feel comfortable showing up to a group of 100 plus. So once the city gives a stamp of approval, I think the short is like, we'll still probably wait a month or two after to even calendar something. So, well, yeah. So I mean, we can wrap up. Any have other final thoughts? I feel like I'm on an episode of Jerry Springer. Not that I've ever seen that show before. No. Yes.
Well, I got a quick question. So obviously I like to network a lot with the clients and their coworkers at happy hours and such. But obviously with COVID, you can't do that. So I've been leaning into weekly golf outings. I'm just curious what other people are doing to connect with their clients and network amongst them across the board for any business.
We're doing a car wash Saturday in our parking lot.
I love it. That's great. It's a good idea.
I love it. Well, hey, let's break up. So if we can cut this
carve
off.
us what we got. All right.
If
golf and car washes.
if you're interested in doing another one of these, just email me. We can get different realtors on, different partners on. We've done a handful of these. People seem to like them, so we'll obviously shuffle the deck a little bit. And you know, I think we have one in August, maybe September. So just I will send I'll email myself, put everybody else in the BCC. Everybody's been on an email thread and text thread, and it's annoying. So I'll do it like that. So and have everybody's info on there. So if you want to follow up separately, feel free. But yeah, if you're interested in getting on another one of these, email me back. We'll get you some times, and God willing, we will do an event here pretty soon. But these have been pretty fun, and yeah, if everybody likes the idea of doing one of the little virtual happy hours, I'm game. We'll throw it together. So
yeah,
fun.
Cool. Hey, appreciate everybody's time. Thanks for your participation.
Thanks, guys.
Be well.
Nice to meet you guys.
Take care.
Adios.